Hi guys, today I'm going to be giving you 3 tips on how to have a happy marriage, and especially during this time of quarantine, isolation, whatever you want to call it, whatever you're going through, where we're all stuck together at home. And maybe for you that's really unusual and you are not used to dealing with your spouse that much and you're not used to being around them that much. Here are some tips for you on how to get along a little bit better. Welcome back to my channel. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you do, feel free to like it, subscribe, and that way you'll get notified whenever I upload a new video. You'll always know about it. I have been planning to upload weekly or every other week, but with pregnancy and anemia and COVID-19 and just a lot of strange things have aligned to where I have not been able to film. Sorry about that. Hopefully I can get onto a little bit of a rhythm, but then, you know, with baby coming, hopefully I can do maybe like once a month type of a video. And even though you didn't ask for it, here's a baby bump update. 34 weeks and a couple of days. I'm ginormous. Enjoy today's video. Today I want to talk to you guys about 3 major tips on how to just keep a happy marriage and keep peace in the home with your spouse. But first, I just want to encourage you guys. I know a lot of you are going through a really hard time, that many people have lost their jobs in this time. Many people are struggling to make ends meet. I just want to give you guys some testimonies and some encouragement that it's gonna be okay. This will pass. This is not the end. This is not forever. Even though it feels a little bit like it's forever, it's not forever. This will pass. And I'm gonna give you guys some testimonies of provision, of how God has just come through for me and my husband time after time after time, where he has provided for us. You know, even the apartment that we live in right now, when we moved in, we couldn't afford the rent. And we had someone come alongside us and say, we're gonna pay the couple hundred extra that you can't make every month until you can afford it. And they did that for almost a year until we could afford it. I also had somebody reach out and just say, we're gonna buy you diapers and wipes for as long as you need it. I think they did that for about a year of just free diapers and wipes from these people. When my dad got sick, and he lived in the Netherlands, and we were gonna go out to visit him as a family of 4. Flying to the Netherlands, it was a sudden big expense, and someone gave us $1,000 just to help with the expense so that we could go. We've had people walk us out to a parking lot and say, look at that car. Do you like that car? Yeah, here's the keys, and just give us a car. So we've had some incredible, I mean, mind-blowing provision from God. Right now we have our dream car that we were able to purchase that was just totally an act of God. And the timing was right before all the COVID-19 stuff hit. So it was like perfect timing. God just totally orchestrated it. None of this is bragging because it was not my own doing. It was not my husband's doing. It was God's doing. I'm bragging on God right now. And I'm bragging on God to show you that you're not alone, that he has not abandoned you. Just put your faith in him and he will get you through. Put your faith and your belief and your trust in him. And honestly, your worry, your stress, your anxieties, everything that you're going through right now, talk to him about it. He's not surprised. He's not surprised if you're worried. He's not surprised if you're scared. I just really encourage you, talk to God about it. Give him your burdens, because his burden is light. So take on his burden. His burden is light and peaceful. He gives us such peace in your heart that just goes beyond understanding. It goes beyond rational thinking and logic, and it just hits you and it goes through every part of your body. So I just pray and speak peace to you. I hope that this encouraged you, and just, take these testimonies and just say, you know what, God? Yes, I agree with that. That's amazing. I want that for my family. I don't know how this is going to work out. There were so many times where I didn't know how things were going to work out. And now we're in a place where God has increased us financially to where we can afford our rent, we can afford diapers and wipes, we can afford a nicer car, and we have the means to do those things because God has provided and he's increased us financially. So I just pray over you peace and provision in this time, and health and safety. All right, let's get right into it. Whew. 3 tips on how to have a happy marriage, especially during this time of like quarantine, isolation time, when you're just stuck together, stuck at home together. Number 1, do fun things together. My husband and I are best friends. If we had it our way, we'd probably hang out every single day together. We do so well being in the same home together all the time. We get along really well. We've never really gotten sick of each other, which is awesome because he's a teacher and he's home right now. We are experiencing the same thing where we're both home all the time. It's fun though because we play board games. We love board games. I encourage you to get a hobby with your spouse and maybe just a project, a hobby, some kind of fun thing where you guys can work together on it and have so much fun, just laughing and having a lighthearted time, especially during this time where there's a lot of tension in the air. You know, there's a lot of stress and anxiety in the air out there. And so just making your home a home of peace and a home of joy and a home of love, I think combats that, and it will help you and your marriage to not suffer. So don't just zone out on TV. Don't just go on autopilot, do your own thing, but actually take this opportunity and this time to build up your marriage. Maybe read books together, read some marriage books together and talk about it. Talk about what you're learning from those. My husband and I love board games, like I said, and we have a lot of them. We actually took some time and we were having like a board game tournament where we were like playing different games in the evening after our kids would go to bed. Just fun things like that. And it's not a bad thing to watch TV, and I think it's okay to watch some TV even together, something purposeful, like you're gonna have a movie night or something like that. But just make sure it's purposeful, be really purposeful in having fun with your spouse. Another part to that is actually the opposite. Make sure you also are doing some things for yourself alone because you're stuck in the same place at all times, all the time with your spouse. Make sure that you have your own projects, your own self-care, your own time, your own quiet time with the Lord, or just even quiet time with just yourself to just think and be alone and just take a breath. I think those are also very important to make sure you have some time separated a little bit and maybe kind of working on your own things sometimes too. All right, tip number 2 is going to be communication. We all have heard communication is key in marriage, and it's so cliche and it's thrown around so much, but communication is actually key. It really is. It actually is so important. You need to talk to your spouse. Talk about your plans for the day. That is something that my husband and I have done from right when we got married. What's your plan for the day today? If we were both off on the same day from work, it was, what's your plan for the day? What do you need to get done today? This is my plan. And talking it through so that you're not butting heads later saying, hey, wait a second, I needed to get this done. And wait, you're ruining my time. Wait, no, I needed to do this. So you're on the same page, you're working together, compromising through any kind of schedule conflicts and figuring out what you guys need to do. And then also in the evening for us, when our kids go down to bed, always, what's your plan for your evening? What do you want to do tonight? What's on the schedule? Maybe have a written schedule of kind of what you normally are going to do every night of the week during the evenings when your kids go to bed. That's what we have. Lately with pregnancy, and I was suffering from anemia for a while, so I was really drained. And so I wasn't really filming, so I wasn't editing. That was a lot of time my evening plan. So without those plans, let's play a board game. Let's just have some fun. But talk through it. Talk through the plan. Talk through what you guys want to do. And that way you're on the same page. Communicate your expectations. Communicate now that you're home all the time, honey, could you help out with some chores? Or could you help out with this chore? Or could you do this? Communicating expectations is huge. And that is so many times when you don't have communication, you have assumption. And when you have assumption, you can be completely wrong. And that's how fights are started. Communicating and just over communicating and talking through everything is going to help prevent fights. It's going to help prevent arguments and frustration and feeling like you're constantly butting heads. That was a great segue into this. Tip number 3, fight fair. It's okay to fight in your marriage. I do believe it's okay to have some disagreements and arguments, but honestly, I don't ever call it fighting because to me, when I hear the word fighting, I think of yelling and screaming and like, I'm I'm so mad at you. We don't do that. We never have. We never fight like that. But to disagree or have a miscommunication or be hurt, I think, or disrespected or those types of things, that can happen. That can happen to anybody. That happened to us this week, which doesn't happen all the time for us, but it did actually happen this week. Again, having the lack of communication of expectation, the lack of communication of your schedule or what you're wanting to get done and what you need from the other person is really huge. Just communication. But how to fight fair? How do we fight fair? How do you argue with love and keeping that connection with your spouse? Here are the tips and things that my husband and I do when we are in a disagreement, in a frustrating situation, kind of arguing, and we're not feeling connected, we're not feeling on the same page, and we're maybe feeling hurt, disrespected, or just not heard. These are some of the things that we do. First, know that your spouse has a good heart. And if they don't, that's a whole nother video, whole nother topic. If you're in a happy marriage overall, then you should know that your spouse has a good heart, and he or she has a heart of love towards you. And he's not actually trying to hurt you. I'm going to say he a lot because I have a husband. They're not trying to hurt you. They're not trying to disrespect you. They're not trying to disregard you. So keeping that in mind and knowing that, okay, their heart for me is love. So they just hurt me. So I know that that was not their intention. I know their intention towards me was not to hurt me. So let's talk through this and figure out what happened. And I think if you approach any argument, any disagreement with that mindset and with that approach, it's so much easier to get through it. It's so much easier to forgive and so much easier to be understanding and humble and say, wow, okay, I totally understand what you were trying to say there. It came out really sideways and it hurt, but I totally get what you were trying to say. And that way you can mend that broken connection really easily. Also, I would say give some time. If you need a little bit of time to kind of gather your thoughts and calm down, because the emotion of an argument or a frustrating moment can be very like it bubbles up and you just want to like out of your mouth at that person. But if you can just, not gonna do that. Not gonna do it in front of the kids. Not gonna do it right now. I'm choosing to keep my love on, and I'm choosing to just, no. Not gonna be mad, not gonna just vomit my anger at this person. Just take a moment, gather your thoughts, calm your emotions down a little bit, and analyze a little bit. Like, okay, why am I reacting this way? What am I feeling? Why did that hurt so much? What about what they just said hurt? What's going on kind of internally? And then you can more easily talk it through later with them because you've been able to kind of analyze and figure out, okay, what about this upset me? And it's not just emotion freaking out and a reaction, but it's an actual conversation and response. So something pretty specific that we actually try to say to each other is that I know you were not meaning to do this, and I know that your heart was not to hurt me or attack me or disrespect me, but when you said this or did this, I felt hurt or I felt very attacked. What were you trying to get across? Because I know you were trying to communicate something, and I know that I'm not hearing it right. I know that I'm not quite processing it quite right or you didn't say it quite right maybe. Try to avoid the you and go to the I type terms, like I felt really frustrated or I felt really attacked by this. And that makes it less of an attack on the person of you did this. That immediately puts a person on the defensive. So if you can more go to, I felt really attacked, or I felt really hurt, or I felt really disrespected when you said this. That gives them some time to say, oh, wow, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I did not mean to hurt you by saying that at all. And that puts them at more of an understanding footing or more of an understanding attitude rather than a defensive, I have to defend myself because I feel like you're attacking me. So instead of just saying, why'd you say that? That was so rude. You could say, I understand that this was not your heart and this is not what you were trying to say, but I felt really hurt when you said that to me. What were you trying to get across? Like, what were you trying to say? Because all I was hearing was this. This was my perception. This is what I was getting from what you were saying, and it hurt. And what were you quite thinking in that? What was your thinking on that? And that really is going to solve so many fights. It's going to prevent so many fights if you follow those steps and those kinds of tips. It's going to prevent so many arguments, or at least just walk you through an argument. It's okay to have disagreements and arguments and little disagreement things that happens all the time. We're people. We miscommunicate things. We express things wrong. You have any idea how long it takes me to edit my videos? I say things wrong all the time. Adding another person in there, you're constantly both miscommunicating to each other. So trying to over communicate is really the key to prevent those fights. But when you have a fight or an argument or a disagreement arise, I believe these are some really great tips to keep in mind to help you work through it. I hope this helped you and I hope it blesses you. I have heard some really sad reports lately that divorce lawyers and attorneys are actually so overloaded right now with divorce cases that they're turning people away because they are so full of divorce cases. And I think that is just the saddest thing, that people being forced to be together for a long period of time can't handle it and aren't getting along and just divorcing. And I just don't want that to happen to anyone I know or anyone watching my videos. So I hope this helps, that you are blessed, that your marriage is blessed, and that you have a peaceful, wonderful day. And again, if you liked this video, like it, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe for the next one. Hopefully I'll be getting it out in the next month. Hopefully I'll get at least one more video out before baby comes. And I just want to encourage you guys. There's a song, a little random, but The Blessing by Carrie Job and her husband. I encourage you, go listen to that on repeat and let that permeate your home. Let that permeate your marriage, your family, your home, the atmosphere of your home in this time. Don't give in to the fear of COVID-19. Good things are coming your way.